it out to you guys for a few. Yes, right here in front.
So one thing, I really thank you for having kind of a movie that brought me back to the Critters days. It really felt like that, spine backs and all that. It's really effective, it's really great. But one of the things I think that was kind of had to been intentional is the music itself could have been very orchestral, more dramatic, right? But you kind of chose gritty R&B or dubstep stuff that you're using. So you kind of describe a little bit what musically how you're.
Yeah, well, we studied John Carpenter a lot, and we figured, I had this kind of realization that he never uses a snare. It's always a bass drum, and other movies with needle drops all the way through them, for me, people end up cutting to the track. And in the old days, you would cut the fucking film, then you would score it. Now they score the film, then they cut it. So it makes a lot of shit look like a pop video to me, and for me that pops me out of the action. Like old school soundtracks are elastic. The rhythm bends and shapes. Like if you watch the truck chase in Raiders, the tempo keeps shifting, and you can't, you know. And if a beat sits on a 4/4, it kind of makes the whole sequence slave to the rhythm, to quote the brilliant filmmaker Grace Jones. But you know what I mean? So that's the first realization we had. And then I just wanted to, I've never heard an orchestral adventure movie beat on a British movie. And I would watch my favourite American movies and I would think, man, I want to feel that. I want kids like that to feel that excitement about where they live.
Have you screened it at all for young audiences?
No.
Have you done any tests?
No.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear how they react when they finally see it.
I think next Wednesday, we're showing it in Wandsworth. Anyone want to come?
Yes.
Yeah, the movie fucking rocked.
Thanks, man.
I can't wait to see
Thank
it
you.
again. But my question, you talked a bit about the creatures, but where did you guys start with the design? Like, how did you get the idea to design like that? Because I've never seen an alien that looked like that before.
Well, here's a secret. For my whole life, when I was a child, I had a black cat. And I used to watch the cat, and people used to send my mum and dad, you know, if you have a cat, people send you cat shit the whole time. Not actual cat shit. People send you cards. You get that with cards with cats on? And they'd always send these beautiful silhouetted illustrations, like the silhouette of a black cat. My whole life is a really beautiful thing, like if it's sitting on the kitchen table and the sun's coming through, and it's like I said, it's like a two-dimensional shape. You can only read its three-dimensionality when that two-dimensional shape moves, like a shadow puppet. So that was it. It was the fucking cat. Which isn't so scary, is it? But that's where it came from. We had that idea very early on, and we tested it, and then we stuck with it.
Yes, Debbie.
From an academic perspective, this movie kicked fucking ass. But
what are your qualifications?
I can't divulge that.
Okay, sure.
But also, I noticed that you and Edgar are also working on another script that you've been working on for a long time for Ant-Man. What's the status on that thing?
We're currently working, right?
Yeah, not right now.
Not right now. But the day after tomorrow, we will go back to Los Angeles. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, we kind of have a stock response now because it's true to say that we've been writing it in some form. Weirdly, the treatment for Ant-Man exists before Marvel Studios. There was a treatment that me and Joe did when Artisan had some of the kind of the lower rung kind of Marvel kind of properties, and we wrote a treatment for it that exists before Hot Fuzz. And basically when, I met Kevin Feige, I said, oh, did you ever get our treatment? And he'd never read it, so then we submitted it properly 4 years later. So it's something that me and Joe have genuinely been working on for nearly a decade, and at some point we'll finish the script.
You know what, I say again, the cool thing is not to know anything, so we ain't gonna tell you nothing.
Well, I think everybody now is even more excited for that when you guys are done and ready, because, yeah, it really feels like just a great blend of a number of different things that I haven't seen put together this way before, and the kids are just phenomenal, like they really are.
Can I ask you guys something?
No.
Oh. People and American distributors are nervous about the language, the slang.
No.
What?
Now, there was a story in the Hollywood Reporter, it was like, attack the block, South by Southwest, but the language? Is it a good movie? Are people going to get it? My gut feeling is maybe they underestimate you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
My feeling is with 20 years of hip-hop culture, with The Wire, with, did you find it difficult? Did you find it... No? You've seen it, you're cool. Well, tell your local distributor.
Yeah.
That's the case.
I think we got time for a couple more. Let's see, anybody towards the back?
I got one.
Okay.
For Luke Treadaway, how did you get into the character of Brewis?
How did I get into the character of Brewis? Listening to great music that Joe put me onto, and just bopping around the block. I know people who are like Brewis, who sort of go around London thinking they're pretty street, but actually they live in Chiswick, which is a posh part of London. And so yeah, I've met people like Brewis before. Maybe I am a bit like Brewis, I don't know. But yeah, just sort of like that really.
Well, listen, you guys know how this works at a film festival as well as I do. Carry the word. Go tell people what you saw tonight so they'll come tomorrow night or they'll come to the later screening of the week. And I want to thank Joe Cornish for being here and bringing